Welcome into Vandy on SI. I'm Joey Dwyer here with Dylan Tobitz and Graham Bacco ahead of Vanderbilt's opener against Charleston Southern. We're going to talk loud because that music is blaring right now. Went out to the Star Walk a second ago, knew it improved, and you can just feel the energy. It's different in here these days, but the task is Vanderbilt's to answer the call and come out with the appropriate intensity. Graham, what are you looking to see from Vanderbilt today?
Yeah, I mean, I think, first of all, just a clean game you want to see. Obviously, first game, even though, Vandy returned 70% of projection from last year, we talked about all the returning guys. So I think a clean game is definitely what you want. We talk about the penalties and penalty issues. You can't have penalty issues, false start. Really just a clean game is what you're mainly looking for here.
For sure, and obviously you want to get the starters out early if you're Vanderbilt. I've heard murmurs of a potential snap count for Diego Pavia and Eli Stowers. I think there probably is something to that, but if this thing is close late, I don't think there's any way you can get those guys out of the game, Dylan. But if everything goes well, they shouldn't need those guys. It should be the Blaze Berlowitz show from midway through the second half on at least.
Absolutely, yeah. I'd love to see kind of the backups in early. I think we're going to actually see a lot about the depth of the team today. Obviously, that's the hope. I'm looking forward to that. I think Drew Dickey could even see some action depending on how far out of hand this game goes. And the other thing I'm really looking at is the fans. They sold out first bang against an FCS opponent. That's like a far cry from what Vanderbilt's had in the past. And just, from a student perspective on campus, you feel the excitement of the student body. It's been a long time, if ever, that there's been this kind of excitement around the program, especially from the students. And I'm excited to see the student section kind of show up, and we'll see what today brings.
Sure. Graham and I wrote a lot about it yesterday. You wrote about it earlier in the week, challenging the Vanderbilt fans to get out here. Graham, obviously we saw the result of, it was only the result of Dylan's challenge. That's the only reason they came out, I'm sure. Yeah. We do really well on Google if that's the case. But Vanderbilt sells this game out, Graham. I think it's a big deal. It's a big testament to what Clark Lee has built here. Even my first year on the beat, we're watching them play Alabama A&M, completely empty right above us today. Obviously not the case, going to be sold out. Who knows what the crowd actually looks like, but those two words are a big sign of progress in themselves.
Yeah, no question. It's a Clark Lee effect, is what I would call it. I mean, 2 years ago, Vanderbilt was 2-10. We got last year, you upset number 1 Alabama here, and all of a sudden, Vanderbilt's in the headlines, are getting all this attention. You got all these people returning. People actually want to be here at Vanderbilt. Where in past years, Vanderbilt's sort of an afterthought. This year, that is not the case whatsoever. Vanderbilt is actually a competitive team competing with other teams in the SEC, and here we go with a sellout crowd here tonight. You talked about in past years too. I think there's another difference, and I think what will be pretty interesting to see later on this year is, past years we've seen SEC opponents, their fans sort of take over or become the majority of the crowd. I think it's going to be very interesting to see what happens now this year with Vanderbilt. The whole culture, the Clark Lee effect is sort of taking over and taking charge. It's a really great thing.
Yeah, and the other aspect of it is the fans deserve this. Clark Lee, I think, said it on Thursday. He's like, we owe this to the fans. It's fans that have sat through the 2 intense seasons and sat through the close games to teams like Charleston Southern. We're going to speak extra loud now, but
come on, Joe Dale.
They really do deserve this. And the fans that have, quote unquote, suffered through the not so great seasons, they deserve to have this kind of excitement. And I think more fans are going to show out, and it's going to be a great atmosphere here today. And it's going to really continue throughout the whole season.
Yeah, and here's the type of game that they have first-time fans at. I think this is the first step to changing the home environment the way Clark Lee has wanted to over the years. We talked a lot about, obviously Graham brought it up, like SEC fans have taken over this side of the stadium specifically. That can't happen this year if they're going to be a winner, and I think this is the first step to telling you maybe that won't happen consistently, but they've got to show it tonight. They've got to show people why they need to come back, why they should want to come back. Still progress to be made though, and Graham, I think I'll give it to you here. There's a South Carolina logo still on the bleachers, so yeah. I think that's indicative of the work that they've still got to do, but you've got to give them credit for the progress they have made here.
Yeah, no question, and I think you sort of hit the nail on the head there. You got to have a clean game. You have to give the fans a reason, a good game here tonight, to give the fans a reason to sort of keep this hype, keep this momentum and the vibes going throughout the rest of the season, because if you come out here and sort of, come out, sort of flat, have a close game late in the game when it really shouldn't be, if we're being honest, you cannot have that. You gotta get on top and apply the pressure on Charleston Southern early and often. So, you give the fans
focus and a high degree of intensity from this Vanderbilt team today. I think it's easy in a year that they have national championship aspirations. Today's not going to really make their season. Today's not going to be a signature win for them. But I think it's an important one to kind of get the temperature of the way Clark Lee has been preaching and kind of how his team has been receptive to it. I think Charleston Southern is going to give them a little bit of a scare early just because of the new offense. Vanderbilt really hasn't been acclimated to it, although I don't think it's all that exotic. Dylan, I'm going to turn to you here, and we got to get out of here. I'm hot. This is a Michael Jordan flu game for me. It's been a tough week and really grinded out type of night. Vandy on SI, like Dylan and I mentioned earlier in the week, the grittiest Vanderbilt outlet. Sorry, Billy Derrick, but playing golf at Vanderbilt Legends is not going to get you that status. So, Dylan, I'm going to hit it off to you here. Focus, intensity, and I think a bit of resilience are the things I'm looking for from Vanderbilt tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you nailed it there. It's about energy. It's about going out there and not looking unorganized and looking like you're a team that is ready to completely put this opponent in the ground very early on. You know, you think about other SEC teams playing a team like Charleston Southern. This is a game that's 40 points, 50 points, even 60 points out of reach early on, which not only sets the tone for the rest of the game and the rest of the season, but again, as we talked about, it also allows you to get those guys. The Eli Stowers has been banged up with, a back injury. Even Pavio has been sidelined for summer camp. It allows you to get them out of here early, get them ready for next week. And the truth is, this is a really big game. Even if you consider it as just another preseason game, the next 2 weeks get really, really difficult. And I think we're going to write about this more this week. But in my mind, the Virginia Tech game next week is an early turning point of this season. That game is going to dictate how this goes the rest of the way. And I think how they play today is going to set the tone for how they feel confidence-wise, how the fan base feels confidence-wise going into next week, as well as the health aspect. Obviously, number one goal today, I think, is to get out of here healthy with no new additions to the injury report. It sounded like from what Clark said earlier, Stowers is going to play. I'm sure he'll be in a snap count. Ryan Longwell is going to play. I think Issa Utaha is not going to play, most likely. He's listed as doubtful. I think the hope is to have him back next week. But getting these guys healthy, getting them ready for kind of the rest of the gauntlet ahead, I think that will really, it's important today to set that tone, both with staying healthy and bringing that intensity, bringing that level of energy and focus.
Yeah, and I think Issa Utaha is the one to monitor pregame. We'll be doing that. He might be out there behind us. We got to get our butts out there.
Yeah,
Graham, before we do that, tell me what you're looking to see from Vanderbilt today as we wrap up.
Again, just apply the pressure early. Don't make the early mistake. Just do not give Charleston Southern any reason to have hope going into the second half and a chance to possibly steal a game.
For sure, and that's it. Thank you guys for watching. God bless. We'll be back with you post-game, so stay tuned. Vandy on SI throughout the game. Graham will have the live blog. Dylan and I will be writing until our fingers fall off. See, this is why Dylan, I'm sure, was hesitant to intern with me, because I'm gonna work this.
He's gonna put me to work.
I'm gonna work him to the bone, and he's gonna hate this by the end. I'm just kidding, but we'll talk to you guys after the game.